So I think the bottom line of this is that you shouldn't be buying a horrible humpback Tesla. You should be buying a C Type Jag replica.
Absolutely. Every home should have one.
Especially the green homes.
Yeah.
It's going to ruin my hair.
Yeah, mine too.
Ollie.
Hello.
Panache Classic's Oundle.
Yes.
And not a real C Type Jag, obviously, because they're about £1 zillion.
Yeah.
But a very nice replica. Yet to be painted.
Yep.
But
although it looks quite cool, unpainted.
It does look cool, yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. What's the story with this?
Well, we had a customer come to see us and say, could you build a C Type for us? And I'd already had a hankering after doing one for a while, and this kit is a kit that's built by Holman over in Evesham, and it's a really well resolved product. The car's based on an XJ6. The engine, front suspension, various other bits and pieces are derived straight from the XJ6. It's
right.
4.2 litre with triple Webers on it. The chassis is a steel tubular chassis, and it's really, really nice quality. Everything went together really well. It was a very, very quick build. Broadly, we helped put the car together, and it took us around a month.
Wow.
And I have to say, straight out of the box, it drove brilliantly, and had to adjust the suspension a little bit, but that was it.
Does it XJ6 suspension all round? Or?
Yeah, it's got the rear axle is a XJ6 diff and emulates the original independent rear suspension. Right. Of the XJ6, which is different from the original C Type, which would have had a straightforward leaf springs and live axle. Yeah. It does mean that it handles extremely well. It probably weighs about 900 kilos, and you've got 275 horsepower, and the typical Jaguar loads of torque. So it's a very, very competent vehicle. It has a Toyota Supra derived gearbox, so it's a 5-speed manual.
Right.
And it's like a rifle bolt. It's just beautiful. It's really, really good. And it's of all the gearbox conversions that we've seen on any of the Jags, this to me is the most competent and the most, it just feels the nicest.
They quite often use these sort of Borg-Warner T5s, don't they? But they're quite an agricultural change.
They are, and a little bit noisy in a couple of the gears. This gearbox actually, it's got quite a history with British sports cars, because Lotus used them quite a lot in the 70s, from what I understand.
Of course, yeah.
So it really, it is the perfect accompaniment to this engine for this car.
Right. So it's 275 horsepower, 900 kilograms. So it's quite nippy, as we'll find out in a minute.
Yes.
I've always argued anyway that if you keep an old car running, you're being environmentally friendly, because I've always said that the greenest car you can own is the one you've already got.
Absolutely, and you could extend that by saying the older the car, the greener it is, because it's done all its carbon depreciation 60 years ago. In the case of this is an XJ6. This was an XJ6, a 1986 XJ6.
It's probably quite rusty by the time you came to it.
Yeah, quite. And the thing about it is that the fuel that we're using for these cars was always the only downside. A classic car, you can drive it, you maybe do 2,000 miles a year, but there's still the argument that yes, but it's using petrol and therefore dinosaur juice and all that stuff.
But you've got a way around that now.
Well, exactly, yeah. It's funny you should mention that. So we are now working with Corriton, who make a fuel called Sustain Classic. They do various different recipes, but the one we're using in this car is 80% sustainable. Now what that means is 80% of the fuel is made using waste products of agriculture and the baking process and things like that. So we're using a base hydrocarbon that is absolutely renewable. Any fuel, any petrol, basically uses a hydrocarbon and then is converted into petrol using other materials. The fuel that we're using here is an 80% sustainable. That other 20% is still not a sustainable element of the product. The only reason we're doing that is because that other 20%, with no government subsidy on these fuels, would make it even more expensive than it is now. What we really need is for government to come to the party and understand that sustainable fuels are one of the solutions to the future, rather than just saying our journey to full electric, which we know isn't ever going to be feasible.
No.
We always said that classic cars are great the whole time except when you're using them, whereas electric cars are the complete opposite of that. They are really good in terms of zero emissions when you're actually using them, but the manufacture and destruction of those products over the life cycle of the car are horrific for the environment. And you could also say that the electricity with which you're charging it could well be coming from a coal-fired power station anyway. So, you know, the electric story isn't as clean and tidy as we might like to think. It's full of magazines. Bauer Media.
Is it?
Yeah.
They'll never sell all those. No chance. I didn't even know they were still going, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
So the only downside with this sustainable fuel is the price. It's about £5 a litre at the moment.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than that. Yeah, £5.50 a litre.
But if we could get proper subsidies involved and bring the price down, it would mean that classic cars could be used forevermore. Yeah. Which would be great, without any negative impact on the environment.
Absolutely, and even in the restoration process, we're looking at ways of reducing the sort of contribution to global warming with, for example, net zero lacquers that we're starting to use. So we're bringing down the sort of eco challenges that have plagued us in the past when we're building cars.
Mm. But all the same, restoring an old car is nothing like as environmentally damaging as building a new one.
Well, exactly that. And if you add into that the batteries and the manufacturing of the batteries and the eventual disassembly and destruction of the batteries, you know, those processes are extremely unfriendly to the environment.
So I think the bottom line of this is that you shouldn't be buying a horrible humpback Tesla. You should be buying a C Type Jag Replica.
Absolutely. Every home should have one.
Especially the green homes.
Yeah.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's go for it.
I take it you haven't bothered fitting a heater?
No.
Over these bumps better than my blooming BMW. Yeah. Thanks, Ollie.
It's been a pleasure.
Lovely car. Shame you can't keep it, really, isn't it?
Well, it is really, yeah.
Yeah. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share, and please consider joining us on Patreon. It's only a £5 a month. What can you get for £5 a month? Nothing.
Not even a coffee.
Not even a coffee, no. Thanks a lot. See you next time.